So it can be really frustrating when you're super interested in a girl and she appears really interested in you too, and you both have something going on, whether it's dating, just flirting, and the problem is you just can't get her to commit. You're struggling, and it's like this happens every single time with every single girl, and you're thinking, what should I do? Well, stick around, and in this video, I will explain to you 3 simple steps to get her to commit to you if you just stay tuned. What's going on, guys? My name is Assam from dopelifecoaching.com, and today I'm going to be talking about how to get her to commit to you the easy way. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty details of how this is done, you first need to understand that this is a process. It's not just a simple trick that you're going to do that you're going to get her to commit to you. Thinking so would be a bit ridiculous. Rather, when you know that it's a process and you're willing to go through the process, even though it's not tough, it's a simple process. Also, this process is only going to work if something is already between you and this girl. If you're just dating or you're flirting, whatever it is. To be able to attract a woman from the fresh start, this isn't the video for you. That video is in the description below. But if you have something going on with the girl already and you want to get her to commit, then this video is for you. And after watching it, you'll have more of a clear idea of how this works, the process of getting her to commit to you. So getting a girl to commit to you, from my experience and from what I know, all boils down to 3 simple steps that will lead to the final step of strong desire, where she just really needs to commit to you. That's what she feels. She feels like she really needs to commit to you. The steps are curiosity, concern, and preoccupation, where she just keeps thinking about you all the time. Those 3 steps will ultimately lead to strong desire, which is exactly where we want to take her. Our goal here is to get her to that step of strong desire as quickly and as effectively as possible. Now, before watching the rest of the video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button and you also subscribe below, and also turn on the bell notifications, don't forget, so that you get notified every single time I release new videos like this one. So step number 1, curiosity. Now, to get her curious, you have to give her something to think about. That's common sense, right? Now, how do you do this? Well, what you want to do is, when you're on dates with her, give her your full and undivided attention. Just give her an awesome time and give her your full and undivided attention. Don't look at your phone. Don't be talking about yourself. Just be fully present in the moment right now. Now, after those awesome dates, what you want to do is maintain your distance. Why? 2 reasons. The first is you want to create a void, a mysterious void, to get her thinking about you and curious about you. Step number 2 is you want to be focused on your goals, and you should be dedicated to consistently and constantly crush your goals like a boss. That should be the priority in your life anyway, without women even being in the equation. And that's also going to make you less attached and make you develop what's known as an abundance mindset, where you're not just hung up on one girl and you're not just hung up on it working with any particular girl that you're interested in. Rather, your main focus is on the mission and on your future, creating more wealth, hitting those fitness goals, whatever it is. Now, the good thing is, when you maintain your distance, she's going to want to fill that void and get more of your attention and presence. Why is that? Well, as we said, as of right now, she's already interested in you. If she weren't, she wouldn't be here right now. And remember, this video is for if someone is actually interested in you in some way, shape, or form. Now, when you give her such an awesome time and then you go home and you don't call or text her, not because you're playing a game, but because you're more focused on your mission, and also because you don't want to be too easily won over, she's going to want to fill in that void, and she's going to start getting curious, and you're going to come off as a challenge naturally, just because you're distant. You're maintaining composure. And here's why this works. Attraction grows in space. When you're with her, sure, both of you are bonding, and that's where bonding happens, and that emotional connection can be grown. But in space, that's where attraction grows. You're not with her the whole time. When you go home, it's like you part ways. She slowly starts to think about you. Remember, this is a process, not a quick and easy fix. If that's your mindset, then you don't have a growth mindset, and you might as well just not watch the rest of the video. This is for growth in the long run, not just in the short run. And also remember, this isn't exactly a game. You're not playing a game just to get her to think about you. She's not your girlfriend, so you don't owe her anything to be reaching out to her all the time. And also, your goals should be your main priority in your life. Your passionate goals, the goals that you're passionate about. And we're gonna go over that in just a bit. But anyways, curiosity, that's step number 1. Step number 2, concern. Concern is like curiosity, but it's just like a bigger form of curiosity. Here's where she just keeps thinking about you. It's not just, she's not just curious. She keeps thinking about you. You're actively on her mind. Now, how do you do this? Simple. You follow what I told you in the previous step, but also the goals that you focus on have to be the goals that you are really passionate about. Don't just be out here playing video games and watching Netflix and telling yourself, oh, I'm so passionate about Netflix and video games, so I'm just gonna do that all day and that's my mission. Hell no, like a high status man won't do that. A high status man is high status because he constantly and consistently focuses on his goals and aligns his life in such a way that his goals and values come first before anything. The idea is his main focus is on being productive. His main focus is on being a better man, a higher status man, a wealthier man, whatever it is. You're the one who knows these answers because you're the one who's going to be following what you're really passionate about. And also with that, your time will naturally be limited because of this. And when she sees that your time is limited and that you're following your passions, you're not just busy and you're not just creating wealth. You're actually following what you're passionate about. Even if you don't have progress right now, she's still gonna respect it and that's gonna turn her on a lot. Why? Because men who follow their dreams and passions are naturally more attractive than the other men. They are more high status. They set themselves to higher standards. They are more disciplined. Most men are not disciplined. Most men on the weekends are gonna go to the fucking bars and clubs and just try to shoot the shit and get fucking drunk and shit-faced. And she knows this. But when you come off as completely different and also your time is limited and scarce, she feels more attraction for you. Why? Because scarcity creates value. Things that are limited are valuable. And when your time is limited, not because you're playing video games and watching Netflix all day, but because you're creating a better life for yourself, or at least you're headed towards that direction, and she sees that, she starts to get concerned. Not just curious, but concerned. The first step, she was just curious because you're just distant. In this step, it's not even about being distant. It's about behind the scenes, day in and day out, you focus on your goals and your main mission. Even if you're not happy with your current job. As long as you're doing this consistently and constantly, that's the key. As long as you're doing this day in and day out, or at least a couple days a week, you're disciplined in some way, shape, or form, you're naturally going to be a more high status man and naturally attract more new women and keep the women who are currently attracted to you even more attracted. So it's like when you're with her, you're giving her your full and undivided attention, just to her. She's the main goal whenever you're with her on that date or spending time with her or even talking to her on the phone. But whenever she's not in the picture, you're laser focused on your goals, on your mission, on your future. That's what high value men do. That's what high status men do. Make sense? Now, step number 3, preoccupation. Preoccupation is basically when she's just thinking about you 24/7, basically. You're always on her mind, always. And here's how you do it. You follow what I talked about in the previous 2 steps and you add in this step. Whenever you're with her, each time, each new date, you take her on what's known as a new emotional experience. Now, what exactly is that? Whenever you and her are meeting, you want to do 2 things. These 2 things are so important. Number 1, take her on new dates, new and exciting and fun dates that she is interested in, that you know she will be interested in some way, shape, or form because you know things about her and you know what she really likes. That's step number 1. And step number 2, you emotionally connect with her. Now, how do you emotionally connect with her? There are several ways to do this, but there's no right or wrong answer, and it all depends on the dynamic between you and her and in which direction the conversation is going. But let me give you a couple examples. You could talk about nostalgic memories. You could talk about tears of joy. You could talk about fears. Now, before you just go out there and apply this, you need to understand that it has to be appropriate in terms of the context in which it is shared. You don't just go out and just do these just for the sake of getting a connection and trying to gain a connection between you and her. That's like it's like a fake connection. You don't want to do that. It's not going to come off the right way. But here's the idea. What happens is each time she sees you, it's like you reveal a new aspect of your personality because of the things you talked about, and that builds what's known as emotional familiarity between you and her. You start becoming more emotionally familiar by sharing these things about yourself. Depends on the dynamic of the conversation. Like we said, maybe she asks you why your last relationship ended. And you could be like me and be honest. I was heartbroken. And because I was heartbroken, I had trouble being ready to commit to someone else at the time because I was healing. And also I had a little bit of trust issues. And that's okay. That's human. If you're thinking to yourself, oh, that's not alpha, that's beta, I think that's all bullshit. It's all human. The overwhelming majority of men have been heartbroken, and that's okay. The same goes for women. But when you connect emotionally and you talk about your fears, your struggles, this isn't the main point of the conversation. Most of the conversation should be about fun and exciting topics, and you're having a blast. But when you're talking about how so-and-so broke your heart and you wish them the best of luck, God bless them, and how now you have trust issues, for example, or you talk about certain fears you have that prevent you from being the best version of you and show that you're working on them actively. When you share vulnerability like that, it's like she can trust you. This works with anyone in general. Humans tend to have a stronger connection and they bond better when they share vulnerable aspects about themselves. But women specifically, especially the one that has something going on between you and her, because they're driven by their emotions, that bond just gets more strengthened, and better yet, emotional familiarity starts to breed. And therefore, when you're more emotionally familiar, she feels more connected to you, and because she feels more connected to you, her attraction skyrockets, and that's just a better place to be in general. And now here's the really powerful thing. Every single time she sees you, you're revealing a new emotional aspect about yourself that just happens naturally because that's where the conversation is going. That's the direction of the conversation. And each time it's like she feels the anticipation of meeting you more and more and more because she really loves spending time with you. And it's like she now kind of knows who you are more and she feels like she's earned it. It wasn't just handed to her like that. It all depended upon the context of the conversation. You could talk about nostalgic memories from the past. You could talk about tears of joy from your childhood or whatever it is. You could even talk about past trauma and how you've healed from it, or even if you haven't healed from it, how you plan on healing from it. All these things just strengthen the connection between you and her so much, and she just feels so much more eager to see you each time, much more than the one before. And the whole time when you're doing this, each time you're taking her on a new type of date, a fun and exciting and adventurous type of date. Now, just because it's adventurous doesn't necessarily mean you have to fucking go hiking or rock climbing, but the idea is it's what's known as an emotional experience, as I've discussed. Each time the bonding is strengthened, and you gotta ask yourself, if I'm taking her on this date, is this facilitating emotional connection and an emotional experience for her? If the answer is yes, then it doesn't matter where you take her. How would you know if it's the right answer or the wrong answer? If it's fun, if it's playful, if it's exciting, and if it's romantic, and it calms her down and it de-stresses her, it's relaxing, it's not tense, then you're gold. As long as you can do that, and you can get her to the point of chasing you, maintaining your distance, not because you're playing a game, but because you're laser focused on your mission, and you're minimizing contact with her, and you're only slightly increasing contact with her when she does, because she has to earn you and you're not just easily won over like that, she's going to be more eager to fill the void between you and her, so to speak. And then she's going to love it every single time much more than the time before, because she feels like she's earned a new version of you. And also because every time she does that, you become much more emotionally familiar than the time before. So it's kind of like she's winning a prize and you're baiting her to win the prize, because you're challenging naturally, not because you're playing a game, but naturally, and also because your time is so valuable and you're following your passions and your mission, and you're taking her on these amazing dates, giving her your full and undivided attention. And then it's like, after doing all these things, how can she not be attracted to you to the point where her desire, her strong desire to commit to you is super high, that she just has to commit to you? Because you got her curious now, you got her concerned, and then you got her preoccupied to the point where she's thinking about you all the time. You're always on her mind 24/7. And then slowly but surely, she feels like she wants to commit to you because she has a strong desire to do it. So that's pretty much it, guys. Follow the video, follow what I've outlined. Remember, it's not a complex process. It's simple as long as something is already established between you and her. Follow these steps. They're not too difficult. They're not meant to be memorized, but rather things should just run their natural course. Follow them and you should be golden. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit that like button. You also subscribe below, and also make sure you turn on the bell notifications to get immediate notification right away when I release my new videos. Go to www.dopelifecoaching.com. We still have free consultations for first timers, so make sure you take immediate advantage of that offer before it expires. And also, don't forget to comment down in the comment section below for future videos that you'd like me to cover. And that's pretty much it. I shall see you soon. Apply what I've discussed in this video, and you should be gold in no time. Take care.